Welcome to crochet trends that I really hate. Okay, hate is a strong word, but these are some crochet trends or patterns or materials that I just don't really like, either because I don't think they would be flattering on me personally, which is very selfish, or because I think it's a poor use of the materials, or just because I don't like the design. And for all of these patterns, there are versions or techniques that do make me like the specific trend that I'm going to talk about, but we won't mention those in this video because we're just gonna be haters for a second. Sometimes you just have to vent about the things that you don't like, you know? And I think we can do that together. Also, a little disclaimer that I'm trying my absolute best to only include photos of examples of these different crochet trends that come from like Amazon or fast fashion companies, because I don't want to be calling out or criticizing like an individual creator's work. But if I do, I'm sorry. It's just my opinion, and it's just crochet trends that aren't my style. And in the future, I'll try to do a video of alternatives that I think are really cute and classic options if you like these crochet trends, but maybe you change your opinion after this video. And if you want more content from me, my handle everywhere is Carla's Calling, and I make crochet making videos, video essays, which are my favorite, and vlogs showing my life abroad in London. So let's get into the video. So the first trend that we're going to talk about is the Harry Styles cardigan. So this is a cardigan of kind of like strong like block colors of orange, red, green, a little houndstooth moment, yellow, and I get it, you know, we all love someone wearing a chunky knit or crochet sweater. It's a very cozy vibe, and for Harry Styles it makes sense that he would have such a colorful one. But for me, these colors, they just don't work. I think maybe they're too dark. I think maybe if it was a pastel vibe, that could be cuter, but even then, I just think that there's like this starkness of contrast with the colors, as well as like a very chunky yarn that's been used for this, that I think those two things don't go well together. Maybe it would look better with a finer yarn and then the stark contrasting colors, or if you had some lighter colors and it was still chunky, but it's just not cute to me. I think what's really throwing me off is the red and the black. And as I'm saying it and as I'm looking at it, I just want to say all of the colors. Like, I just don't like these colors together. And we're gonna see a pattern in this video. I just don't love granny square based clothing, which I talked about in this video. I think for me personally, you have to be really careful with making any sort of garment out of granny squares or out of squares, because it can very easily look chunky and bulky in a way that's not comfy cozy, but that's more just like, it looks a little too handmade, you know? And I think that's something in general that people don't love about crochet, is that it can look really handmade. And if you don't want it to look handmade, you often have to do like only slip stitches, which is very slow and very painful after a while, or you'd have to use a very fine yarn, which carries those issues and more. So yeah, the Harry Styles cardigan, just not for me. Obviously, you know, he pulls it off. It's just like a silly little sweater he's wearing, but it's not cute in real life. It's just not. I guess I don't really like patchwork in general. It depends. It really depends. Okay, we're back. I was recording the first half of this video during a break from work, but the break ended, and now it is 7 p.m. and the sky is completely black. So if the lighting is different, which it is for the rest of the video, now you know why. But let's continue, shall we? So in the same vein of the Harry Styles square patchwork cardigan, I'm also not a fan, and this is a recent trend, of the hexagon cardigan that's going around. This one was a bit difficult to find like individual creator photos of, but I did find some. I think it doesn't look very put together. Looks like a Snuggie, in my opinion. It's just like, it's giving graduation robe, kind of. Do you know what I mean? I think some people do a good job of obscuring the fact that it's like this weird triangle that cuts the body by doing like a more creative stitch or by using multicolored yarn. But for the most part, I'm just not a fan. I don't like, I guess, the illusion of like how the arm blends into the side of the body, of the torso. And again, it's just like trying to form something to a human body made entirely out of squares or rectangles. It's just not my favorite look, and I think sadly a lot of people who are making these are going to very quickly get tired of them and not wear them, and that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it per se. It's just not, again, my cup of tea. I guess another thing is that a lot of these patterns that I hate are good patterns for learning how to do a specific technique, like a granny square, but I just think that there's other ways to do it and make a project that you're going to use for years and years and that you're going to always like. But there's nothing wrong with making something that you're not going to like forever, because that's obviously hard to do and you should be able to experiment. But for me, this isn't it. I think this appeals to people because it's like easy, or it seems easy to make because it's like, oh, it's just hexagons and granny squares. But that doesn't mean it looks good. But I think people get excited when they see something that seems attainable and it's an actual garment and they don't have to worry so much about form and fit. But I don't know, I just don't think it's worth it. The next thing is anything that's like a velour velvet fluffy yarn, which I hope isn't mean to say because I see people make like purses, full-on outfits, bucket hats out of this. But I think part of it is that I don't like velour / velvet unless it's like, you know, Y2K tracksuit. But that's just camp. Like, that's not because I actually think it's visually or aesthetically beautiful. I'm just not a big fan of velvet, even like a velvet pillow or blanket, which I've also seen people crochet. That's a bit better for me, but to me it would remind me of like a teenage bedroom, which again, if that's your style, go for it. I also think like, you know, a little crochet velour beanie for like a little kid or a tween is quite cute, but I think to wear it on a day-to-day basis, it's not very flattering. I just don't really like it, honestly. I don't even know what to say. I just don't think I like it. But that's definitely just my personal distaste for velvet. For plushies, like stuffed animals and whatnot, that's quite cute. But anything else, it's not for me. It's a no for me. And finally, we're going to end with a crochet trend that I'm not sure if I love it or if I hate it. And I have been undecided for like probably 2 years now. And that's this sort of viral Pinterest 3-piece rectangle top. I don't know what to call it, but if you are a Pinterest girly like me and you go there for your crochet craft inspiration, then you know what I'm talking about and you've probably seen this. And the reason why I said that thing earlier about people being drawn to these patterns that are quite like blocky and maybe not that realistic and flattering is because they seem and are easier to do than something with lots of decreases or increases or ribbing and all this stuff. So the reason I say that is because this was actually the first crochet top that I wanted to make. Like, it was, my first crochet project was a beanie, and then I was like, okay, my first top, like, let's get some inspiration, something that's like attainable but still cute and that I still want to wear. And I landed on this because I was seeing it everywhere. I was like, okay, a rectangle for the body and then rectangles kind of for the sleeves, and then you just put it all together or build it off of the main rectangle. So it seemed easy enough. Saw tons of different tutorials, tons of different graphics explaining how to do it, and so many people wearing it, and then, you know, they sell it on these weird websites. And it was one of those things where just the longer I looked at it, I was like, do I actually like this? And I still don't know. I was trying to figure it out today, like, should I even include this in the video? Because maybe I do like it. I don't think I do. I think it's a sign, if I'm that undecided about it, that I don't really like it that much, but I don't hate it. I think it can be cute, especially in photos. I think, again, trying to fit something to our bodies that's made entirely out of rectangles isn't going to work for many of us. So maybe that's part of the reason why I know I'm never going to make this, because I know that I won't like how it fits. But the concept of it is cute. I guess for like going out, taking pictures, but it's definitely not an everyday top for most people, in my opinion. Okay, I think that's all for this video. Let me know what you think of these different patterns in the comments. If you want to argue with me and tell me that I'm wrong about any of them, I want to hear your opinion, because maybe I'll change my mind. But just not a fan. Just not a fan of anything super blocky. Maybe in theory, but not in practice. Do you know what I mean? And if you agree, I'm curious if you have the same reasons, or if there's another reason that you think I might not like these that I didn't mention. Tell me, because it's always good to figure out what we like and what we don't like, especially when you like to make things, so you don't waste your time or money or materials, and so you have a better vision of what you want to create and share with the world, instead of just kind of blindly following what you think you like. At least I think it's important. So if you want more content like this, I do video essays, crochet/making content, as well as life abroad vlogs. Next week's video, I think, will be in Paris. So if you want to see that, subscribe, and I'm Carlos calling everywhere. So thanks for being here, and see you next time.